Welcome to another episode of The Bug Bite, hosted by yours truly, Tech Coach Ralph, where we are engineered to win. In this episode of The Bug Bite, we are going to talk about some T-Mobile data breaches, which in turn goes very well with our Welcome to Cybersecurity panel that I recently hosted, which featured some amazing cybersecurity professionals who've been in the industry for a very long time, which you can learn a lot from. So I would definitely recommend checking out that panel discussion, and I will link the video right here. All right. However, let's talk about T-Mobile's data breach. Right. So let's go over to our shared screen. And here we are. So this article is from dig.watch, digwatch, right? And we're going to discuss T-Mobile suffering its second data breach in 2023, right? And this data breach, it says attackers gained access to the personal information of 836 customers. It doesn't sound that bad, right? However, remember, this is the second data breach. So, and I'm sure in this article, we will touch on the first data breach as well. So let's get into it. Says, T-Mobile has disclosed that the company suffered a second data breach this year in late February of 2023, where attackers gained access to the personal information of hundreds of customers. The company stated that the breach was limited to only 836 individuals and that no personal financial account information and call records were not affected by the security breach. The data breach notification letter sent to impacted customers as shared by Bleeping Computer states the information obtained each for each customer varied, but may have included full name, contact information, account number, and associated phone numbers, T-Mobile account PIN, social security number, government ID, date of birth, balance due, internal codes that T-Mobile uses to service customer accounts, for example, rate plans and feature codes, and the number of lines. So it's interesting that right here says the company stated that the breach was limited to only 836 individuals and that no personal financial account information and call records were not affected by the security breach. But however, all this information that may have been stolen from the breach, co- full name, contact information, account number, social security number, government ID, date of birth, those are all the that's all the information that one could use to access personal financial information, right? Because so this would go along with some hacking into the T-Mobile system and some social engineering, right? To be able to access information that they should not be privy to. So although right here makes it sound like it wasn't too bad, but then when you get to the severity of the information released, you're like, oh my goodness, this is a lot. But let's continue. However, since this compromised personally identifiable information can expose customers to identity theft, T-Mobile is offering the affected customers 2 years of free credit monitoring and identity theft detection services provided by My True Identity from TransUnion. T-Mobile has been plagued by several data breaches. T-Mobile has been plagued by several data breaches in the last few years. These include January of 2023, 1 month prior to the 836 people who were affected. That's January 2023, when personal information of 37 million current postpaid and prepaid customer accounts was stolen when attack stole data through a single application programming interface, an API, without authorization. Now, now, just referencing to the cybersecurity panel that we recently had, how does how does a single API not have authorization. So outside of like even outside of cybersecurity, right? Way before it would get to these cybersecurity people who are checking this out in the development phase, where are the unit tests that are checking for security, right? Now we get to QA. How is this getting past QA that, hey, people are able to get, 37 million people's account information by going to an API endpoint without authorization? You know, that should be the first thing that's tested. There should be some tests that, there should be some tests if you don't include the, if you don't include authorization, all the tests automatically fail. Like I don't know. Maybe I'm not too familiar with T-Mobile's engineering process and their QA process, but that just seems like common sense across the industry, right? So it says December 2021, per the company, a minimal number of customers became victim of SIM swap attacks. August of 2021, a security breach that impacted 54 million customers. February of 2021, hundreds of users were hit with SIM swapping attacks. Then in December 2020, T-Mobile disclosed a data breach that had exposed customers' network information. March of 2020, when attackers gained access to the personal information of the company's customers and employees. 2019, a data breach affecting prepaid wireless customers, and 2018, where personal information of up to 2 million customers were exposed. And that's the article. So this is, and don't get me wrong, like I am a T-Mobile customer, right? And I love the services, I love the price, I love a lot of things about T-Mobile. But just reading through this, like especially this one right here, right? Um, I'm not familiar with SIM swapping, and I don't know. They didn't say much detail about this August 2021 security breach, but just reading the one from January of this year, right? This seems so preventable. Just reading the detail here about a single API that, without authorization, exposed the personal information of 37 million people, right? And then in February, and then like less than a month later, then you have another one where they were able to gain the information of an additional 836 people, right? So this one doesn't seem as bad, but when you combine it with this one and the time frame, right? That something's got to give. Like what's going on with the development and what's going on with the QA? What's going on with this with the cybersecurity professionals over at T-Mobile? How does this one get to the public, right? And how long was this API without authorization that the hackers were just lying in wait? And who knows through this API what other type of information could have been exposed? This is very dangerous, very scary. So yeah, like these are things to these type of security breaches, they put the general public at tons and tons of risk, you know? And when they say postpaid and prepaid customers, to me that almost sounds like their whole entire customer base, right? In the amount of money that we pay monthly for these to these companies for these services, we have an expectation of proper development practices, proper testing practices, proper security analysis practices. And here's the thing, it's not just T-Mobile. We don't have any insight into how many of these companies do their development practices, do their testing protocols, all of that. You know, how do we know it's not some a QA tester who, they're really in love with manual testing, so they don't do any automated tests. You know, they might be they might have scored a 100 on the ISTQB certification, but they don't have any practical QA knowledge, and now we lead to having this a simple test that should catch the API endpoint for the authorization, you know, which also exposes why some services might cost more than others, So it's all a cost benefit analysis. Let's go back. Yeah, that's very interesting to me. How like the the second breach combined with the first one, and how preventable it could have been, and how as developers and QA people and data engineers and cybersecurity professionals, we're all responsible for the quality of work that we produce, and that we need to do a better job because the public's hand or the public's safety is in our hands. You know, we need to take responsibility for the quality of work that we do, and that knowing that a mistake can actually, have wide lasting impact. And, we just got to do better. Speaking as someone in the software engineering industry, as a QA engineer, you know, we got to do better. We have to make sure that we are protecting our customers, along with giving them this great services that we do, amazing services that we do. Like I said earlier, I think T-Mobile offers us some amazing services, but we also have to keep in mind the protection of our customers, because if they don't feel safe, then we're going to lose them. All right. So that's our episode of the Bug Bite for this week, hosted by yours truly, Tech Coach Ralph. If you found this video informative and useful, please subscribe to the channel, the notification bell, so you can know every time we go live, every time we release a new video, and whenever we have these cybersecurity panels, or maybe QA panels or interviews, whatever the case may be. Hit the notification bell so that you can be informed and you can tune in. You can get your questions answered. You can interact with us. And we can just continue to level up and grow. All right? Growth is always the goal that we're looking for. All right? But on that note, friends, family, this is Tech Coach Ralph signing off.
If you enjoyed the fascinating information shared in this video and you want more, be sure to hit the subscribe button to Tech Coach Ralph to be notified for new videos.